Okay, so, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we are doing today, a follow-up to the other day where we were looking at different locations around the school, looking for hazards, right? What did we learn from that the other day when we were out looking at those two different places?
We learned this, like, where the safest place would be, like,
Yeah, and what are some places that would be safe in a tornado? Lynham?
It would be hallway B, was it?
Hallway B?
Yeah.
Why hallway B versus hallway
Because it had more walls, so that was secluded in that area.
Right.
Hallway A.
Yeah, a lot of walls between you and the outside area. What else was it missing that hallway A had?
The doors.
Doors to the outside?
Inside, so.
Yeah, what else? What else? What else did it have? Don't-
it had, it had that little thing up in the air with that you could see if somebody's breaking in.
Oh, yeah, like, motion detectors, things hanging down, other pieces of electronics, different lights, right? So what would make a safe space? Oh, you guys are into safe spaces. Right.
Being in a place that doesn't have a lot of debris, no windows, and like, it isn't, like, it won't really cave in if anything were to happen.
Yeah, so areas that, you know, you don't have a lot of, flying debris, right? So, no windows, no doors.
From the inside,
Say again?
a door that locks from the inside.
Door
So
that-
it doesn't fly open.
Yeah, that would be helpful, right? That might be helpful to have something that locks from the inside, something where you can kind of secure the door.
Whatever space you're on the other side of.
Right, whereas, those kind of lock kind of from the outside, right? Yeah, and also, so would you wanna be high up in the building or low down in the building? Low down, why is that, Rafi, do you think?
Cause you can see more faster.
Yeah, so you can be down lower, right, it's got more protection around you, right? So, most of the school building is what, is it 2-story or 1-story?
Like one story, plus the basement.
Yeah, with the exception of that basement, so maybe that basement, do y'all feel like that might be a good place?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certain parts.
Kind of, why kind of?
Because like, one, it's very different from the hallways we have here, they're closer to the outside. Like, there's an entire space where there's just only outside, and then we have the 2 gyms, which are gonna have a lot of debris, and they're already like, not safe, and the wall itself is so close to the outside rather than like in the middle. There's probably like maybe a single corner area that would be the safest, but there's still like, you'd still catch a lot, so.
Yeah, and, probably that roof is not made in the gym, it's a big open roof, right? It's
Yeah.
not
Oh.
secured very well,
And the
right?
court gym, right?
Yeah, and so that really, you know, when you have a roof that's spanning a large space, it's not gonna be as secure as if you had a bunch of poles.
There's
Hold it
a
up.
whole thing on it in,
Right.
I think it was up in China or Japan, where there was this one school building,
Good morning,
They were
Centennial.
We're
Today,
good? Okay, what were you saying, Ollie, sorry?
but there was a school building somewhere in Japan or China that, there was like softball practice during, I can't remember if it was during a storm or just broad daylight, but the entire roof collapsed in
Oh,
and, pretty much crushed almost everybody in the
oh
softball team.
geez, wow.
I only found
Wow.
out of it because apparently the government tried to cover it up or something, because they're like, oh, you made that wrong.
I mean, of
Sorry.
course. Right, it's like, oh, we were supposed to make it up to storm standards, and, we didn't, we cut corners.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that everywhere, really. You know, not doubting the quality of our building, but, contractors are gonna contract sometimes, right? Okay, so what else did you guys notice about the two? Some differences, or maybe some similarities between the two? What do you think? Differences or similarities between A and B? MG?
Between A and B?
Yeah, when we were were in hallway A versus hallway B. Were there any similarities between the two?
Yeah, I guess they both have like lights above them, so that can crash down on you,
Right.
I guess. But the big difference was like the window, like the
Yeah.
door in the windows.
Yeah, for sure, access to that, 100%. But what do they both have, just overall, less specific,
Lockers,
less specific,
that's just.
Stuff that can block around.
which would be a
Hazard.
hazard, right? Both have hazards associated with them, but one I mean, I think we can all agree, right, that one has less hazards than the other, okay? So today, what you guys are gonna be doing is going to be taking some maps of the school. And you guys are very familiar with the school at this point. You guys are all seniors, you've been here for 4 years, right? Pretty familiar with the school building. Well, with the exception of Kingston here. But you guys have been here for a while. You guys know where you know where kind of the safe spots are, right? And so what I want you guys to do today is you guys are gonna use your field notebooks and you are going to go out into the school building. You're gonna pair up into groups of 2 to 3 and take notes on these different places that you find around the school building. I want you, before you leave, you're gonna identify 3 different places where you believe it will be the safest. Then you are going to go out to those places, and just like we observed in the hallways out here and took notes, you're going to observe any things that make it safe. 2 to 3 things that make it safe, right? Reasons why you chose that place. And as many hazards as you can list, right? And think outside the box, right? This is an F3 tornado. This is pretty serious. Not Joplin, Missouri kind of serious, but still very, very serious, you know, winds well in excess of 100 miles an hour, right? So pretty significant damage could be occurring, okay? So think about all the different hazards. Again, you're gonna be looking at things like the lights, any access to windows, access to outside walls, things like that, right? But you're also gonna be looking at reasons why it would be safe. Say you are many walls between you and the outside, right? So think about that as you pair up in your groups and go ahead and identify some places on the map. I want 3 places on the map, so you should have in your field notebook 3 sites, and for each one of those sites, a few reasons why it's safe. You know, 2 or 3, give or take, right? Maybe more. If you have more, cool. Remember, because too much detail is just enough, right? Then all your hazards, because there's probably gonna be more than 3 hazards, I'm sure, right? And think outside the box. Think if there were to be some sort of failure of the structure, okay? Right? Questions so far? Questions about that? All right, I want you guys to go ahead and pair into your groups, real quick, groups of 2 to 3, and we'll get started from there, okay? Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right.